Dear God, I got one question. I need to know, do revolutionaries go to heaven? And if so, may their legacies last forever and their seeds grow. Tell them that we love them so and never let them die slow. It's like we cursed to be born black. We was kings and queens, now look where we at. I know it won't be long before we take it back. I just hope I live long enough to see it happen, and that's a fact. Cause one thing when you pro-black, you might love your people, but they may not love you back. For more than 400 years, we've been under attack. We survived slavery and then they gave us crack. Do revolutionaries go to heaven? 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 I wanna know. Do revolutionaries go to heaven? I hope so. Do revolutionaries go to heaven? I wanna know. Do revolutionaries go to heaven? I hope.
Peace and blessings, family. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Taye Speaks. Today we got a very special guest in the house, a very educated brother, very dedicated, putting in a lot of work from coast to coast. You know, a lot of people get down in their city, but he's reaching out, stretching out, and influencing, inspiring people and planting seeds and helping our people, you know, get back on the right track and get back to our greatness. So without further ado, King, I truly appreciate you. Thank you for coming on to the show. It's definitely an honor. And I want to thank you again for showing me support. And hopefully, you know, me, myself, and my viewers, we can also show you support with a lot of the things that you are doing. So let them know what your name is and where you're from.
First off, I'd like to give thanks and praise and honor to you for creating this platform, because the more Black platforms that we have, the better. So I most definitely want to give thanks to you for having me on your platform today. But for those who may not know, I'm Baba Imhotep. I'm the founder of PLM, Pan-African Liberation Movement. We are based out of Baltimore City. I would like to define myself as being a scientific Pan-Africanist. And the reason why I use the terminology scientific is just to make a distinction between all the pseudo Pan-Africanists that are out there. I want you to know that I'm nothing like any of them. You know, I think the Pan-Africanism that I subscribe to is authentic and true to what it means to be a Pan-Africanist.
Okay. So my next question is, what is Pan-Africanism for the viewers who may be watching and they don't know what it is?
For me, Pan-Africanism is two things. It's an objective and it's an ideology. Many don't see it as being an ideology. They just say it's an objective, something we're trying to aspire towards. For me, it's different. For me, Pan-Africanism is the way in which we see ourselves, and how we must see ourselves as being a unified body of people, meaning that no matter where we stand in the world, we have to understand that we're African people. And with that understanding, we have to also know that we have the same enemy in the same conditions, and ultimately we seek the same objective, which is African sovereignty. So in short, Pan-Africanism becomes the system and the ideology that sees African people as being a unified body of people throughout the world, contending with the same enemy and aspiring for the same objective, which is African sovereignty.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of Black Americans, they're not really aware of the oppression that Black people face globally. You know, they don't know about the Black people in Brazil, or the Black people in the Caribbean, or the Black people in Africa or Asia or Australia. And like you say, it's a common enemy. It's a common narrative. It's a common history. So, you know, that's a lot of power if we could bring all of that together, you know what I'm saying? But we cutting ourselves off, or we've been cut off, you know, so definitely appreciate that, King. I want to talk a little bit about the Race First rally. What is that?
Oh, man. So the Race First rally, can I provide a little backdrop to it?
Take your time. You have as much time as you need.
Okay, so in 2020, around June 2020, I was up one night. I forget the exact day, but I was studying, just thinking real hard on trying to figure out what could be possible solutions to the situation that we are confronted with as a people. And I was just thinking real hard, and I was inspired to just proclaim race first. So the very next day, earlier that day, I did a live and I said race first. And I said we must utilize race first as the vehicle to pull ourselves together. And I was just doing that live and I got a lot of responses back from a good responses back. And then probably like 2 days later, I was inspired to come back and give another live. And I said, listen, we're going to do a race first rally August the 16th, 2020. And a lot of people was like, they was on board with that. So what the race first rally is about, the race first rally becomes the symbolic means through which we could display a semblance of unity. And we want to display that semblance of unity because we want to facilitate organization. I'm of the opinion that the stronger we are organized, the better we are effective in doing what needs to be done. When I look at us as a people, I see several levels that we need to be organized on. From my vantage point, I think that at the base level, the common folk in the community need to be better organized. And then I think the community people need to be organized in relation to those organizations that are on the ground that's doing the work. I think that's another level of organization that needs to happen. And then I think the organizations that are on the ground in their cities need to be organized. That's the third level of organization. And the last level of organization, I think we need to be organized at the national level, meaning the organizations that are doing the work in each city, we should know of one another and have some level of operational unity. So race first becomes a means to effect organization. Why do we need to be organized? For one, we need what is known as national consciousness. Frantz Fanon talked about national consciousness in Wretched of the Earth. He realized that the lack of national consciousness slowed down the revolutionary thrust. And when you think about Black people in the United States of America, once we get at a city level or a state level, we don't know of each other. We don't have a clue who's who. And that's the reason why when we shot down nationally, we don't have an organized national response. And we don't have an organized national response because we lack national consciousness. I give an example. In Baltimore, I'm from Park Heights. About 3 years ago, a Jewish white boy was murdered in Park Heights, where a lot of Jews live. Within 3 days, they organized the entire Jewish community in this land because of one death. Now, in most of the places we live, we witness hundreds of deaths, and we have yet to be able to organize effectively against it. We don't see ourselves as the same, and we don't process the loss or the death as being one of our own. And that's due to our consciousness. So race first allows us to see ourselves as the same by raising national consciousness so we can get to national identity. Once we get to national identity, we on our way. So race first is just a means to that end.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother. I appreciate you breaking it down like that, man. You made some strong points. I mean, it just seems like when you look at other communities, like you say, they are more organized, whether it's doing business or even in the streets. If something happened, like you watch the old mafia movies, you got to ask for permission. You got to sit down. You got to go through certain channels. You know, they don't eat certain things in certain communities. People don't dress certain ways in certain communities. And it's like that going all across the country. You got a Chinatown in every city. You got a Little Italy in every city. You know what I'm saying? But they all on code, you know, but our people, we are not organized, you know, so I definitely appreciate that.